Our artisans, they need to do 4 years of training to be able to manufacture a Kelly bag. This that you've just seen, the perlage, you need to be very skilled and very, very good.
Some of Hermès products are made in China. Towels are from Fuyue in Shandong. They also make products for Chanel and IKEA. Beddings are from Yue in Shandong. Men's shoes are from Shachi in Shandong. Tableware are from Gaochun in Jiangsu.
It was my first time shopping at Hermès, and let me tell you how it went.
We got a lot of requests, do Hermès next. And that's why we're here in the Highland Park Mall.
In Italy, made in China, or maybe made in Chile. Oh yeah, that should be a thing, by the way, because some brands get real creative when it comes to made in Italy.
The luxury world isn't just having a bad day, it's in full-blown freefall.
They sold us a dream.
For decades, Hermès and Louis Vuitton stood at the pinnacle of the fashion food chain,
touched
wrapped in an aura of
marketed
perfection
like a
that few dared to
Hermès
challenge. They sold us a vision, compelling fantasy of handcrafted artistry hidden ateliers in the French countryside, and impossibly rare materials handled only by master craftsmen.
As tradition.
Every stitch, every clasp, every polished leather surface was marketed like a sacred ritual.
Workers cranking out
and we bought it not just with our wallets, but with our trust, with our pride.
CEOs.
Owning a Louis Vuitton bag or a Hermès Birkin wasn't
at first
just a
people
purchase.
Didn't believe it.
It was a status symbol, a badge of honor.
Even real people who spent
almost finished bags from China factories back to their own factories and just do the repackaging and logo installing, something like that.
The Chinese supply behind product. Bags are from Vuitton handbag in Dongguan City, Guangdong Province. It's a factory specializing in handbags for 54 years, and it produces 80% of the world luxury bags.
Put the finishing touches on a Kelly, the most difficult bag to build. It starts with 30 distinct cuts of leather and can take 20 hours to complete, 4 hours for just the handle. There are no manuals or cheat sheets. Artisans rely on their training and muscle memory to make every bag.
So Hermès has put out a response to China, and they have like a video in a factory sort of showing people trying to show that they're actually the ones who are making the bags in a factory somewhere in France.
Spent over $100,000 of my own money dissecting luxury bags, cutting them open, analyzing every stitch, every layer. Why? Because I had to know what made those bags so expensive.
Started making his boots in China, and that is these boots right here. This is pretty much the UGG boot that like most Americans will have in their house. I was very pissed off when I found out the truth because I grew up in Southern California. I remember being in elementary school when I would only see 2 people in the entire school wearing UGG boots, and they were always the cool surfer kids.
Those bags I cut open, just expensive, nothing special. But if you truly
real people who
proof that you belong to an elite club, but that fantasy,
churned out
dead buried exposed as the hollow lie it always was. Because Chinese factory workers fed up with being the unseen hands behind the so-called artistry,
Hermès
just tore the silk curtains down.
Story.
And what they revealed isn't pretty.
But if you think
it's not a tale of handcrafted excellence.
Think again.
It's a tale of mass production of shortcuts of greed disguised as tradition.
Less than $100.
What's really behind the billion-dollar logos?
Pay for a fancy dinner date.
Grimy assembly lines,
a new pair that
bulk leather
built
sourced
and stitched in China.
From the same suppliers as mid-tier brands. Workers churning out so-called exclusive designs by the hundreds with little
as your daughter drawing on your $60,000 Birkin. Am I right?
Yeah. I couldn't even be mad at her because when I asked her, I was like, I wanted to see if she was gonna tell me the truth. I was like, Coach, did you draw on mommy's purse?
Literally spent $60,000 on this purse. Look what my daughter did to my purse.
That's where I keep all my purses. This one here is really special. If my house was on fire, I would take this one out of all of them.
Unbox my latest Hermès bag with me. This is my first bag I got this year. I usually get 1 bag a year, and this is the one for this year. And I'm really excited about it.
You walk into Hermès and say, hey, I want to buy one of these. You know what they say to you? No, we don't have them. First of all, you have to be Hermès customers. You have to demonstrate that you like the brand. And then you can only buy 1 per year.
When speaking to this client here regarding selling her Birkin 30 Gris Etain, if I'm not wrong, Great retains the color, and it's palladium hardware. The bag is in box fresh condition, but it's Y stamped, which means it's a 2021 piece.
More than a stopwatch and a production quota to guide
buying
them.
experience was
The entire
carefully
luxury
scripted.
industry
It
just
was
got
about
caught
selling a
exposed,
story,
and the backlash
and
is
that
turning the
scam
old
was
world
only the
empires
tip of the
upside
iceberg.
down.
Because
Reputation
were already
shattered.
panicking.
Revenue
Behind the
plummeting,
polished
CEOs allegedly
champagne.
sweating
No
bullets.
smug pats on the back.
Behind
Luxury
closed
giants
doors
has
as
turned
shareholders
desperate.
demand blood.
Executives are
And
out
the
to contain
wildest
the
part,
parade
this
of
might
damage
only be the
control.
beginning.
Frantic call, full-blown free
It didn't start with a massive investigation. It didn't start with some bold
every
undercover
stitch,
journalist.
every clasp,
No,
every brushed
it
lead
started
eye,
with a murmur,
owning a Louis Vuitton
TikTok
badge
here.
of honor, belonged to an
A
exclusive
leaked video there.
club. But
Grainy
greed
footage
just
filmed with
ripped the
trembling
silk
hands
curtains
inside
of
dimly lit
shortcuts,
factories
of
in China.
greed from the same
At
suppliers
first,
as mid-tier
people
brands.
didn't believe it. How
More
could
than
they?
a stopwatch and a production
The
industry
idea
just
that
got
Hermès, the
caught
holiest
naked.
of luxury
and the backlash
brands,
is
was
to
outsourcing to the same
reputation
factories
shattered.
that
Raters demand
make
blood
cheap
and the
knockoffs.
crazy investigation. TikTok
It sounded
here,
impossible,
a leaked video
blasphemous
there,
even.
freeze in China.
But
Idea
the
that
murmurs grew
Hermès,
louder.
the holiest of luxury
Factory workers, real
sounded
people who spent their
impossible.
days stitching
Blasphemy
seams and
workers
gluing
was
soles
no
began
stopping
sharing
it.
their stories.
They revealed that the
And once
so-called
they
solid
started,
production runs
there was no stopping.
slow
It.
openly laughed
They
about
revealed
it.
that the
According to
so-called
him,
handmade
the only
masterpieces
reels, same
weren't
machines,
lovingly
you're
crafted
paying
in picturesque
because if
Parisian
you thought
workshops.
you were getting what you paid
They were being
for,
churned out on
and it's
assembly
enough to make
lines,
bing,
sandwiched
the whole
between
shebang.
mass market
Think about that
sneakers
for a
and
second,
wallet
B.
production runs.
And here's where it gets even dirtier.
No slow meticulous.
Most luxury world has
Artistry,
ever pulled, and
no
millions of
ancient
loyal
time-honored
customers feel like they were
traditions,
stepping
just
into his
industrial
lives.
speed
But
and
believe it or
cold,
not, running
calculated
LVMH,
efficiency.
there's no
And the
celebration.
betrayal
Sources
didn't
say
end
the mood
there.
inside these memos
In
that don't
one stunning
sugarcoat me
YouTube
brainstorming
expose,
how Louis Vuitton
a factory manager
firefighting
openly
sessions
mocked
isn't
about
just
it.
down. It's
According to
collapsing
him,
in public.
the only real
Customers.
difference
One viral TikTok
between a $100
video
bag and a
shredding their
$10
Hermès scarves
My00
and bags into trash bins.
Hermes
all set to
purse,
trending
the sticker
exposing
price, he sneered.
that allegedly
Same
deceived
workers,
millions. Idea
same
that customers were
materials,
part of
same
viral
machines.
video at a time.
You're
is
paying
just
for a
beginning
story.
when billions
And
in
that
luxury
story, the
are
one customers
allegedly
clung
hanging
to,
by a
just
thread.
crumbled into
Sources
dust.
It's no
But
longer
if you
a
think
matter
that's
of
where the horror
who's
show
going to pay
ends,
for it with
think
their
again.
John
Because what they
Scorpio
revealed
Axel
next
Dubitz. Dumas
hit
now
even
faces
harder.
mounting anymore. They're added
Brace
over a brand
yourself,
of famous,
because if you thought
multiple
you were getting
umbrella,
what you paid
especially
for,
those tied to Louis Vuitton's
think
brand
again.
LVMH, say Arnaud
The workers didn't
allegedly
just reveal
stumbled.
that
How they're
luxury
hanging in
goods
the
were
air right now
mass-produced.
isn't if someone's
They pulled back the
getting
curtain on
first
the
to
real
New York.
production
The luxury
costs.
world's executive
And it's enough to
casualties,
make even the
luxury
most
sector
diehard
is trem-
fashionistas
are warning
feel
that
sick.
luxury fashion
Many
could
Louis
be
Vuitton
facing
bags
its
factory
they don't
insiders
forgive.
disclosed
Luxury isn't
cost
about
less
craft.
than
Luxury brands
$100 in
counted
total
on
to
customers
produce.
believing they were buying hustle
That's
with a fancier
materials
price
labor,
tag. And
shipping
without
the whole
Louis
shebang.
House of Cards is
Think about
collapsing.
that.
1x for so long.
For a second, you're
because
dropping
one,
$2,
it's
0,
crumbling
0,
faster than even the
$3,000.
harshest critics ever
Even
imagined.
$5,000 for a bag that cost the company
and
less
the
than
empire
what you
built on
pay for a
illusion,
fancy
and
dinner
everyone's
date.
asking now,
Less than a new
world,
pair of
now
sneakers.
exposed for
Less
what
than
they
a
really
weekend at a
are.
modest
Precious,
Airbnb.
sacred.
And here's where
Now
it gets
factory
even
workers
uglier.
who finally
Those
said
pristine
enough
made in France.
for decades about illusion.
Labels.
An
Yeah,
illusion that's
allegedly
been
they're slapped onto products that were mostly built and stitched in China.
Because when
the finishing
customers
touches,
realize
maybe a
wondering if they're
button or a
next,
strap, are done in
analysts
France,
telling
just so the
Gucci,
brand can
Prada,
legally market
Milan
it as
finished.
French made.
And it's not just
It's
Hermès
the biggest bait in
and Louis Vuitton feeling
switch the luxury world has ever pulled,
and how
and
soon.
millions of loyal
and judging by
customers
it's
fell for
almost
it.
impossible to walk back from them.
One former
The
Hermès
denied and
employee
dismissed
even
self
admitted
is
that
furious
sales
over the
associates were
mismanagement
trained
of the
not to tell
scandal.
customers
Instead
too
of getting
much
a
about
management,
production origins.
are allegedly being
the entire
sized up
buying
for
experience
termination. No, Hermès,
was
where heads
carefully
could roll.
scripted,
At LVMH,
a performance
the
designed to
ruins
make
and a
shoppers
customer
feel like
base
they were
revolting
stepping
CEO
into
ever
history.
wants to hear. What have you done for
Even if the truth
enraged
was closer to
investors?
stepping into
They
a
aren't interested
factory
as
in
the calm
Guangdong.
steward who let
It wasn't
the
about
spotlight has
craftsmanship.
behind closed doors.
It was
has
about
hit
selling a
critical
story,
mass
and
careers.
that
and right now,
story we now
the
know
careers
was
of
built
some
on
of
a
the
mountain of
biggest
lies.
operating. It's
But
not
believe it or
just
not,
Hermès
the
and
pricing
Louis
scam
Vuitton
was only the
customers
tip
are
of the
luxury
iceberg.
fashion.
Because behind the scenes, the people running these luxury empires were already
dramatically
panicking.
throwing once-prized
Behind the
sentiment is
polished
catching
marble
fire.
walls
Creators,
and velvet
our
draped
upload
boardrooms
heritage,
of Hermes
you
and
bought a
LVMH.
$70
There's no
bag
celebration
for selling
happening.
lies,
No toasts
manipulating
with rare
customer
vintage
loyalty,
champagne.
for treating
no smug
buyers like
pats on the
gullible
back.
wallets if flaunted
Instead,
their Birkins
it's
and
chaos.
speedy disgruntled influencers
Sources say the
burned by
mood
the rebel
inside
shift.
these luxury
At the altar of
giants
luxury,
has turned
they aren't
desperate.
mourning
Leaked memos
the magic spell
are
that made people
circulating
plants.
memos that
A
don't
silent,
sugarcoat the crisis.
devastating stores.
At
Paris
Hermes,
or New York
executives
either.
are allegedly
From
holding
Tokyo's
back-to-back
desperately
emergency
so.
meetings,
You can
desperately
echo of
brainstorming how
luxury's
to
fall
contain
from
the
grace.
fallout.
Once upon
At
a time,
Louis
Furious.
Vuitton,
Luxury
it's the same
buyers aren't
story.
walking away quietly.
An endless parade
They're
of
flipping
damage.
tables on the way out.
Control
Outraged customers
strategies,
burned
PR,
by the revelations
firefighting
are
sessions,
leading
and
a
frantic
full-blown
calls to
boycott
consultants.
movement against
Because store
Hermès and
traffic
Louis
isn't just
Vuitton.
down,
And
it's collapsing.
not just a few
Revenue
disgruntled
projections
influencers cutting
sliced
up
in half
Louis
overnight.
Vuitton shopping
Brand
bags
sentiment
and
free falling
dramatically
into
throwing
territory once
once-prized
thought
handbags into trash
unimaginable.
bins. All
For the
set to
kings of
trending,
luxury.
exposing music
And
tracks.
insiders
Some
are pointing
influencers
fingers
have gone
fast.
even further,
Board members are reportedly demanding explanations.
Receipts,
and if rumors are to be believed, they're not interested in excuses. They want heads on platters. If this train wreck isn't reversed.
Dumas now faces
By
mounting
next
pressure
Q1,
from furious
Hermes
board
memo
members
leaked
and
to YouTube
enraged
left a chill in the
investors.
air.
They aren't interested
Our
in past
credibility
glories
is dying
anymore.
faster than
They're
we can
asking
save
the
it.
Vuitton, brands that
Think
once
about
stood
that.
atop the fashion world.
This isn't coming
now
from
exposed
critics
for
or
what they
journalists.
really are.
It's coming from
Customers aren't
inside the
just
companies
angry.
themselves.
They're done. The luxury
Because
house of cards is
when the illusion
collapsing,
cracks,
one
no
exposed
amount of
stitch at a
marketing
time.
magic can
And
glue
the
it
bigger
back
question
together.
everyone's asking now,
And what's
full-blown
happening outside
boycott
those
movement
boardrooms,
against
it's even
Hermès and
uglier.
Louis Vuitton.
The
And it's not
devastation
just a few
isn't just buried in
disgruntled
financial
Clip 10,
spreadsheets.
the
You can
fall
see
of
it
luxury
plain as day
fashion.
on the streets.
And influencers
Walk
take
into a Louis
luxury
Vuitton
brands
boutique
build
today and it feels like
careers.
stepping into a
And
ghost
right
town.
now, the
No
careers of some
bustling
of the
lines,
biggest
no
past
velvet
glories
ropes,
anymore.
no whispers of
They're
excitement
asking the
from
brutal
customers
question no
clutching
CEO
numbered
ever
tickets.
wants executives under
Instead,
the
vacant
LVMH
displays
umbrella,
lonely sales
especially those
associates
tied to
trying.
Louis Vuitton's brand management,
To
all
look
watching
busy,
the backlash
the
grow
sad
and
echo
wondering
of
if they're
luxury's
next.
fall from
Analysts
grace.
are warning that
Once
luxury
upon a
fashion
time,
could be facing
Hermes
its
stores
biggest
had waiting
crash
lists
in
stretching
decades.
months,
Because
even
when
years for
the
their
myth
most
has
coveted
been
bags.
exposed,
You
luxury
couldn't
isn't
even
about
breathe near a
craftsmanship
Birkin
anymore.
without an
It's
appointment
about
secured
illusion,
by elite
an illusion
spending.
that's been
History
brutally
now.
ripped apart. They're flipping
Walk-ins are
tables on the
welcome
way
desperately.
out. Outraged on
So
TikTok
you can stroll
and
in off the
Instagram
street
are
and
now
browse
torching
entire
their
shelves
loyalty
of
back.
merchandise that
Bluntly
nobody seems to
stating,
want
you
anymore.
didn't buy. Have gone even
It's not
further.
just
Something
happening in
rare.
Paris
now,
or New York
those
either.
things, the nightmare is
From
we fix
Tokyo's
this?
Ginza
It's a
district
matter
to
of
Beverly
Hermès to record profits
Hills
lately.
Rodeo Drive,
And
once
lately,
thriving temples of
Axel
luxury
Dumas
shopping
has
videos are
precisely
flooding YouTube,
Ruthless
showing
Bernard
eerily
are paying
empty
the price.
stores.
Before this
Boutiques that once
scandal
had
is even
2-hour
half,
waits
they
and
walk
velvet
away,
roped
brutally
exclusivity
ripped apart
are now
by a few
barren
brave
wastelands.
They're just
A
another
silent,
mass
devastating
market.
reminder
Customers
when
aren't just angry. They're done.
you break
The
trust,
luxury happening.
you break
No
everything.
toasts with rare
Because the
vintage shreds.
illusion of
Leaked
scarcity,
memos are
the magic
circulating.
spell that made
Emergency
people
fallout.
camp outside
As
stores
strategies,
and shell
PR
out
for
thousands
traffic
for a
for
single
the kings of
item is
luxury.
dead.
And
the people who once
heads on
worshipped
platters.
at the
If
altar
this
of
train wreck isn't
luxury,
reversed
they
a bit,
aren't.
Think about that.
Mourning.
This isn't coming
They're
from
furious.
no amount
Luxury
of marketing
buyers
magic
aren't walking
uglier.
away
The
quietly.
devastation isn't
They're
just
flipping
buried
tables
in
on the way
finance.
out.
On this,
Outraged
it feels like
customers burned by the
no velvet
revelations
ropes
are leading a
and from
full-blown
customers
boycott
clutching
movement
numbered
against
tickets.
Hermes and Louis
Instead,
Vuitton.
vacant
And it's not
displays to look
just
busy.
a few
The sad
disgruntled
history. Now, walk-ins are well.
influencers whispering
shelves
into the
of
void.
once thriving,
Major fashion
empty
figures.
sour waped exclusivity
The same ones
are
who
now
once proudly
barren
flaunted their
wastelands.
Birkins
Break
and
everything.
Speedies on
Because
TikTok
the
and
illusion of
Instagram
scarcity
are now
doesn't shell out
torching their
thousands
loyalty
for
in
whispers
public.
of
They're calling out
accepting it,
Hermes
walk
and
into a
Louis
Louis
Vuitton for selling.
Can glue it back together.
Lies for
And what's
manipulating
critics
customer
or
loyalty, for
journalists?
treating buyers
It's
like
coming left a
gullible
chill
wallets
in the
instead
air.
of discerning
Our
customers.
reportedly demanding
One viral
explanations.
TikTok didn't
And
hold back,
if
bluntly
rumors are
stating,
sliced in half
you didn't
overnight,
buy heritage,
brand sentiment,
you bought a
free fall
$70
every
bag
world.
with a
These days,
$3,000
Hermès and Louis
ego
Vuitton that
tax.
few dared to question.
And the
By
sentiment
Vuitton
is
wasn't
catching
just a
fire.
purchase. It was a
Creators are
status symbol.
uploading
Proof
videos,
that you
shredding
built
their
not a story
Hermes
of handcrafted
scarves,
excellence
cutting up
by
Louis
the
Vuitton
hundreds
shopping bags,
with little.
and
The old
dramatically
world
throwing
empires
once
upside
prized
down.
handbags into trash
This might
bins.
only be. It didn't.
All set
Start
to
with some
trending
deals with
expose
trembling
music
hands
tracks.
inside
Some
dimly lit factory brands.
influencers have
Was
gone even
outsourcing to
further,
the same
posting
began
entire
telling their
expose
stories.
series breaking down
And
receipts,
once they started,
production costs, and branding tactics that allegedly
they're
deceived
slapped
millions.
onto products for
Clip
a bag
10.
that cost the company less
The
than
fall
what
of
you
luxury
many
fashion
Louis
and
Vuitton bags,
influencers take.
factory insiders
Luxury
between
brands
mass
built their
markets,
fortunes
sneakers and
on the idea that customers were part of something rare.
And the real difference
Now
between
those
a
same
$100
customers
bag
are tearing
and
down
a
the myth
$10,000
one viral
clung
video at a
to
time.
just crumbled into dust.
And for Hermes and
Think
Louis
again.
Vuitton, the
The
nightmare
workers
is just
didn't
beginning.
just reveal that luxury cost
When
too
billions
much
start
about production
evaporating, it's not
origins.
just
the entire
the stock
factory in
price that
Guangdong.
falls, it's
It
careers.
wasn't about craftsmanship.
And right now,
behind
the careers
scenes.
of some of the
The
biggest
people
names in
maybe
luxury
a
are
button or a
allegedly
strap,
hanging by a thread.
$1,000, even $5,000
Sources close
the
to
real
Hermes and
production, because what they
LVMH
revealed
claimed
next
the situation
hit even
behind
harder.
closed doors
Brace yourself.
has hit
Bad
critical
day.
mass.
It's in fought it.
It's
not
no
just with our wallets,
longer a matter
but
of
with
can
our
we
trust,
fix this?
with our
It's a
billion-dollar
matter of
logos,
who's going to pay for it
grimy
with their
assembly
job.
lines,
At
bulk
Hermès,
leather
the
sourced
spotlight has
rigidly
turned
sweating
scorching
bullets
on
behind
CEO
closed
Axel
doors
Dumas.
as shareholder list.
Once
No,
hailed
it
as the
started with a
calm steward
whisper.
who led Hermès to record
but the whispers
profits,
grew louder.
Dumas now
Factory
faces
meticulous
mounting
artistry.
pressure from
No
furious
ancient
board
ticker
members
price,
and enraged
he
investors.
sneered. Same workers,
They
same
aren't
materials
interested in
total
past
to
glories
produce.
anymore.
That's
They're
materials,
asking the
labor,
brutal
shipped, are done in
question
France
no
just so the
CEO
brand
ever
can
wants to
legally
hear.
markery, even if the truth
What
was
have you
closer
done
to
for us
stepping into
lately?
its luck. Instead, it's
And
chaos.
lately, Axel
So
Dumas has
allegedly
presided
holding
over a
back-to-back
brand.
to consultants
In
because
free
storming
fall,
into
a
territory
reputation
once
in
thought
ruins and a
unimaginable
customer
be
base
believed
revolting
they're
in
not
real
interested
time
in
across
excuses.
social media.
Stability is
But it's
dying
not just
faster than we
Hermès
can
where
say
heads
it's
could
buried
roll.
in financial
At
spreadsheets.
LVMH, the
You can
luxury
walk
empire
into a
ruled by
Louis
the
Vuitton
famously
boutique
ruthless
today,
Bernard
vacant
Arnault.
displays,
The
lonely
tension
sales
is
associates
reportedly
trust, and a
nuclear
fury
multiple
boiling over in
executives
boardrooms
under the
from
LVMH
Paris heat.
umbrella especially
entire
those
gift
tied
crash
to Louis
in
Vuitton's
decades.
brand
The
management
truth is out.
are
Fade the
allegedly
myth.
being
What's
sized up
left?
for termination.
Hermès stitch at a
Whispers
time.
inside
And the bigger
LVMH
story we
say
now
Arnault
know
himself
was
is
built
furious
on a
over the
mountain of coke
mismanagement of the
crisis.
scandal.
At and by next
Instead
quarter,
of getting ahead
one
of the
Hermès
narrative,
memo leaked to YouTube
LVMH
happening outside
allegedly
those boardrooms.
stumbled,
It's
denied,
even
and
reached,
dismissed,
had waiting lists
and now they're
stretching
paying the
months,
price.
even years.
It's
You couldn't
almost
even
impossible
breathe
to
near a
walk
Birkin
back
without
from
a
that.
merchandise that nobody
The
seems to
question
want
hanging
anymore.
in the air
It's
right
not
now
just happening
isn't
at
if someone's
temples
getting
of luxury
fired,
shopping.
it's
Videos are
who
flooding
and
YouTube
how
showing
soon.
camp outside
And judging by
stores.
the fury
Luxury
boiling over in
relations
boardrooms
are
from
leading
Paris to New
officers
York,
whispering
the
they're
luxury world could be
calling out
seeing some
Hermès
very
and
public
Louis Vuitton with a
executive casualties
$3,000
before this
ego
scandal
tax
is even
and
halfway
the
finished.
music tracks.
And it's
Some
not just
influencers
Hermes
take
and Louis.
Luxury brands built their
Vuitton
fortunes on
feeling
the
the heat.
and for her stock price that
The entire
falls.
luxury sector
Once
is trembling.
asking the brutal question
Gucci, Prada,
in real time
Balenciaga.
across social
They're
media.
all watching the
But it's
backlash
not just-
grow and
the
wondering
tension
if they're
is
next.
reportedly nuclear.
Analysts are warning that luxury fashion could be facing its biggest crash in decades because
when the illusion
when
craft
customers
to a
realize
ghost town,
they've been
no
paying for
bustling
marketing
lime,
instead of
Hermès
quality,
stores
they don't
appointments
forgive.
secured by elite
They walk
spending
away
Ginza
and they
district
don't
to
come back.
Beverly Hills
The
Rodeo
truth
Drive.
is out.
It's a
The
single
myth has been
item
exposed.
is dead.
Luxury
And the
isn't
people who
about
once buyers aren't
craftsmanship
walking away
anymore.
walking into the
It's
void.
about illusion.
Major fashion
The
figures, the same
illusion
ones
that's
who
been
once
brutally
proudly
ripped apart
seats,
by a few
production
brave
costs,
factory
and
workers
branding
who
tactics
finally
start
said
a
enough.
job. At Hermès,
For decades,
freefall,
luxury
a
brands counted on
reputation
customers
and
believing they were
whispers
buying
inside
something
questions of
rare,
quality,
precious, sacred.
something rare.
Now they're just
Once you see
another
the true
mass market
artistry,
hustle
secret
with a
ateliers
fancier
in the
price
French
tag.
countryside, and
And without the
to
myth,
guide
what's
them.
left?
The grainy footage make
Hermes,
cheap.